Hey, welcome to Between the Lines. We're going through the county candidates and some city candidates, and I'm just excited. There's a lot of young people running. Michael Foster ran when he was 12, and he's back running again. And he is in Quentin, and him and Denise make up just a great team over there, and I'm excited about those two getting reelected. Got my team in here. I've even got one of my workers in here today. AB, we call her AB. She's like AB. You know, Olivia Bitterly, who plays basketball for Rome State, and she's here today to help me and some other things. And just, they need some help. They were 0-24.
Oof.
She said it to me, and I said, she'd gotten the team halfway through the season, but they looked at me. She looked at me, and she said that, and I said, come on, you're kidding. Not one? Got one over here or something?
You get lucky
'Cause,
somewhere.
They were really good 30 years ago,
Yeah.
20 years ago. Remember? I mean, Rome State was I think when Antlers was there, they came in second in the nation or something like that. Do you have a big picture on the wall, Olivia, of the back older teams in the gym? She says no. Okay. And then she threw another statistic at me. She said she was this is your shooter. She says they were 0-20, but she didn't miss a free throw. She probably had a dozen or so.
There you go.
That's good. That is good. That's
0-24. That's tough.
unbelievable.
I mean,
you got to trip into one.
You had to try hard not to win one.
I looked at the record.
Yeah.
I lost by 20, by 8, by 10.
And if you just kept
If that guy
parlaying
ain't
that,
drinking,
you
he
could have
should-
made some money
If
betting
he
against
ain't,
him. I
if he ain't drinking, something's wrong, man. That is too tough.
Oh.
And it's not her fault. She got there late. She come back this year for a second year.
She'll get him there at least one,
Oh,
one or two next year.
They'll let her go
right?
outside and shoot. I mean, that's the problem. She has to stand aside because she's tall, and she's very, very athletic. She's a boxer. Does some boxing. Okay,
that's
show's not
impressive.
about her. We're just glad she came to visit today. All right, so here we go.
Here we go.
Primary's over. You did fine, and now we're going into the final round here, the
Final
general
round.
election.
It's right around
What
the
is?
corner.
I want to know what you've done, and I want to know what we need to do, and I want to talk about the split on commission too. You can choose to say what you want and not talk about. That's fine with me. You know,
My favorite topics, what I want to and what I don't want to talk about.
I mean, you're the only guy on the women's team, aren't you? I mean,
You know, the Mean Girls, right?
you and Chad. That's right. Those three.
And I think, when we look at kind of on commission, I mean, it's one of those things that, I think that everybody wants the best for the county. How we get there are two different things, and how we, and each of us have friends on there. Each of us have people we're going to work with more than others. But, there's
just before we start, tell us about you. You graduated, all that stuff. You're a Clinton boy, your brothers on city council.
City council.
To get all that in there, I knew your dad well.
Yeah.
I met your mother a couple times. Of
She's
course,
the best one of all of us.
Yeah, that's true in your family too.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
your kids are great. The twins are great, and your mother, I met her a few times. But ain't nobody better than Katie. That's not gonna
right.
happen.
I'll hang my hat on that too.
I'll appreciate that, but I think
yeah.
she's smart, but she's very quiet. And sometimes she looks at it.
Yeah, she'll give you the look. I
Like
mean,
run up
for
the tree, you
sure.
run and mess up the tree or something. I know it's hard, and same. What are we spending this money for, et cetera, et cetera. Where are you going to go? She appears to be very organized.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and your family was too, and that's the way it is. And my family, is trying to keep up. And there's so much going on in every area. I mean, it's just so crazy. But anyway, I divest.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, let's talk about. We got 16 commissioners on there, a bunch up for
16,
reelection.
yeah.
Now, this is my area, but I would assess that there's a lot of, these independent races are going to get interesting. Does Archer have a chance in 3, right? Does Wandale is in 1 as an independent.
Yeah.
And then you've got a very talented Yeager in District 8 with 2 tough competitors.
Yeah.
And so the question is, and I'm going to poll the first one Monday, but the
Okay.
question is, how is it going to be a Republican 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2? Do you think the elections this year will be bracketed? Like Sabre has an exact bracket, 2 Dems, 2 Rs,
Yeah.
and an independent.
All right. So in our district, we got 2 Republicans, 1 independent. District 3, there's 2 Republicans, 1 independent. Obviously, I think what helps Republicans, and I sit on the Republican committee, so we're supporting Republican candidates, and what we see is, we got a governor's primary, so I do think that helps Republican turnout. Do people vote? Is there somebody vote for independent because they like them instead of voting the party line? So that's interesting. You're going to have a lot of turnover in commission anyways because you got retirees. I mean,
I want to get on this Republican
Okay.
thing for a second. I think the Democrats do a lot more for their candidates than the Republican committee does for our candidates.
okay.
And I say that, like, you can ask, you can ask, we don't see any Republican signs. The Democrats are 5, 5, 5, 5. That's the committee doing. That's somebody, that's Chase or somebody out there working. But I don't see anybody doing everything like that, which is fine, because you guys can do it yourself and so can we. And I think it's a much, much better organization than it was 2 years ago.
Well, and
because
also-
they had a targeted goal. Yeah, we're going to support these people for these causes,
Right.
and that's not the job.
Well, also they didn't have a primary, right? So
That's
I mean,
true. That's true.
we had primary races that we had to narrow down, and obviously the party is not getting involved in primary races. But I think our social media presence is a lot better than it was previously. I think
No
I
question.
ran
I'll give
4
you
years
that.
ago.
I'll give you that.
And
There's
we
nothing.
got a check from the Republican Party. Didn't get really much support, but we've got people trying to door knock and support, and social media presence is a lot better. I think there's probably more of a voice togetherness in the Republican Party than there was 4 years ago because
I think so.
they gave us a check and they said, "Here you go." And
Well, I think they work for their people.
Yeah, they did, correct. And I don't think we-
I think the key in this whole thing is that there's a consensus built around Terry Frank. And in the past, it's been all over the place, this and that. She didn't have an opponent 4 years ago. But, I mean, all of you guys, a lot of you would be considered, all of you are conservative, but some would be different brands. I mean, I'm just, and we talk about this every day with my workers, I'm a big tent Republican. I'm okay with it. I think we need rules and everything. But I don't want to count somebody out who's very talented because they won't get the death penalty for abortion or something like that. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, and I think it's one of those things when you look at the Republicans, and obviously there was questions in the primary, who, if you could run, could you not run? And I do
That's
think,
the
and I do
biggest
think
issue.
there needs to be guidelines to be part of
We
it.
got
Is a part, and
guidelines.
we got guidelines, and I think we need to apply those guidelines across the board, right? If we're going to have them. But now that we're out of the primary season, we do need to get behind our Republican candidates as the board and as the party. And like I said, I think our social media presence, and I don't know how much that plays. I'm not a big social media guy. That's probably to a fault. I don't post enough about what we do and
That's a blessing.
campaign, right?
That's a blessing.
I'll look at stuff, but I also was in city government before, and as you know, and you don't want to look at social media in city government because no one's happy. And they
ain't happy this year.
No,
They ain't happy this year.
I work well. Obviously, we deal a lot with the city of Clinton. Our district is mostly
That's
made
your
up
people,
of,
yeah. It is.
it's 90% of our district is the city of Clinton. And so having those relationships, and the Clinton and the courthouse and city hall are across the street from each other, right? So we're going to work together.
Well, I've said from the beginning, since I'm 120 years old, I've said my goals on the final days are pretty simple. I want more women involved in
Yeah.
politics, and equally or more important, more young people.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 65. We got races where it's like Oak Ridge City Council. 4 of the people that are up, the average age of those 4 people is probably 75, 75.
Really?
Average. And that's crazy. It's crazy. I don't
Which,
understand.
you want young people to get, involved in.
You gotta turn it
Young
over,
people,
man.
women, especially in the Republican Party, because we always get the thing, oh, there's not any women Republicans, and that's not true.
Well, if they
We
don't
got a lot of
run, I
women,
get it,
right?
I
We
get
got, our senator from Tennessee's a woman, right? We have a lot of women involved in the Republican Party, and I do think the Republican Party is the party of the future, the party of the people, and the party that
I think
we're not elitist. We're here for everybody. We're here. The Democrats want to talk about how inclusive they are, but until you disagree with them, then you're not included at all.
But
there.
I mean, both parties have come to this. You have to vote 3 times, give a pint of blood, and believe in this. I mean, going around calling young people and other people, I don't want to cuss the subjects, but just getting after them because they don't believe in this and this. Like the libraries is a really upsetting thing to me. Don't go in there. Don't go in that section. They act like people are standing out front handing porn ads. It's ridiculous. I believe that the stuff that's in there needs to be sectioned off, put somewhere else, and a parent shouldn't. You don't let kids go back there. I agree with all of that, but at the same time, Michael, I don't think that. Here's the problem with it, and this is true for some of those people that've been to the board. You tell them, okay, we're going to take book number 5, 6, 7, and 8 out. They're going to come back and ask for 9, 10, 11, and 12. I don't think they need to get in the business of library science. They need to tell, here's the 12 books we're concerned about. get them off the charts, put them behind the desk, or get rid of them. I don't think these young stick figure books that teach kids how to, of all sexual preferences, how to have sex, I think that's totally inappropriate.
Right.
But there's not a lot of that. When you start getting into Tom Sawyer and you get into stuff like that, now you're in a place where you're just ridiculous.
Yeah, and definitely, we don't
My area
need,
is Wizard of Oz and that stuff.
we don't need things like that's not appropriate for kids being in the kids section, right? We need to make sure we're regulating that. Do we need to get rid of every book in the library? No. But I do think how we have our library system set up, like there's, it reports to a
people.
board.
That's a great group of people.
But there's a board that, that is mostly made up of citizens. There's one commissioner on there. Do we have any other operations in county government that operate like that? Most everybody else reports to someone or an individual, but those are not, elected officials. We have one elected official on there. They're appointed. It's appointed a board. So, I think there's how we do some things in the library and the way it's set up is probably and that's probably been one of my biggest arguments from the beginning when I got, is how are we managing this? How are we set up? Because we do get calls to go, hey, as a commissioner, but I'm like, we have no oversight on it. All we do is pick a few board members. We don't even pick all the board members. Like the cities have board members they pick, not Oak Ridge because they're
while we're on that
separate.
subject,
Yeah.
the county needs to get out of paying for Clinton Library and a few others. We own Briceville or whatever's out
Yeah,
there.
Briceville's the one we
Lake
own. Everything
City,
else,
I
the
mean,
cities own the buildings.
I understand,
and-
but I just don't get it. We need to pass it back, say, look, this is your library.
Yeah, if you wanna-
do whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. That's exactly right. That's where I'm at. See, I've never been impacted by it because I never learned how to read. And
Good thing they got audio books, you
Yeah.
can listen to them.
well,
That's what I
always
like.
use
I'm a
it.
big, I use the apps a lot. I don't
I
go
use.
to the
I
library, but
come
my
from an
kids
age
go,
where you had to read books, right,
Yeah.
or newspapers. I always use it as a good dating excuse. Like
You had
I'm
rocks and a
struggling-
chisel, right? Back when you were in elementary
Yeah,
school,
I
you
had
had
to
to chisel
and
things
stuff.
out.
Me and
I
Fred
understand.
Flintstone lived next to each other. It's kind of chiseled our worlds, right? It's like I'm from. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to say anything. But anyway, I think that's an issue. But let's take a look at one major issue right now that you guys deal with, and I appreciate it. You guys have held property taxes to zero. We can only judge 4 years at a time.
Right.
So I'm appreciate that. Now I know my wife back here. I know that she is as tough a fiscal manager as she gets. Not unlike Phil and some others. Those guys know the budget, Terry. Terry's got some support for a change. So I understand all that. But you guys have done some very positive things.
Absolutely.
And people, and there's this kind of imbalance between operations and budget. This is me talking. And tell me in a nutshell what's going on in Claxton. We already got the check. We already bought everything. We're done everything. Why? How can we alter rules or proposals? I don't get that part of it.
Oh, you're talking about on the school or on
Everything
the
over there. Community center, everything over there.
Well, those are, the school, obviously, we're building a new school, which I think that's a big accomplishment to be able to build a school without a tax increase, right? When does that ever happen?
Yeah,
right?
I
mean,
did some work in Loudoun County. I said the same thing. They said, well, you got to have it. I said, Anderson didn't need it.
Yeah. And so we're building a new school that was needed for that community. The previous school, which I went to Claxton Elementary for.
No.
I did. I started there and then ended up at South Clinton where we were zoned. But when we started school, we were Claxton. I can remember they were doing, which that's been 35 years ago, right? They were doing a remodel then in addition.
remember that.
And that was kind of the redoing the area between the cafeteria and
Yeah,
stuff, and they've added
I
some more
remember.
since then too. But we needed a new school in that community, and that school needs, and so to be able to do that without a tax increase is very important. And there's talk that we're just waiting to pass the budget until after the election's over so we can raise taxes. That ain't I ain't voting for a tax increase.
I can tell you there's going to be a lot that.
And there's
are
not
gonna
enough
vote
votes
for.
there for a tax increase. I don't, strongly believe that, and that's not what we're doing.
Well, I think a lot of that is centered on the fact that, Russell needs more money.
He does,
And the sheriff
yeah.
does, and it's going to take a tax increase. They tried to work it out, but you can't get 15-20% every time you ask for
No,
it out of season.
And I feel like we, as this commission, has been very good to Russell and
Yeah,
the sheriff's
no question.
department over
They're
that.
the most important budget in a lot of ways, ambulance to in the county.
Yeah.
It's That's
But
big.
money, you only have so much money to go around.
That's right.
And when you have things, and so you have to prioritize. What is the priority this year? Is there a priority for next year? I think law enforcement's always going to be in priority because we want to keep people safe. We got to keep people hired. And it's just trying to find that balance of what we can do to make things better, but also keep it cost. And the thing is, we're coming off COVID too, where we had this COVID money that we were able to
what was it,
do.
ACA? What was that money?
AARP, right?
I think that's for people like me, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. ARPA funds. That's what I always call it. ARPA funds.
ARPA funds.
But
Okay.
we were able to buy a lot of things and do even infrastructure. But the county infrastructure, especially buildings, has aged. I mean, things don't get cheaper, right? Construction costs has gotten more expensive. So even with the money that we had, I mean, it doesn't go as far as it used to. Ambulances cost more than they used to. Police cars cost more than they used to, and it's not close.
Well, let me
the
say this
large
before we
amounts.
go to break.
Yep.
We got to get our commercials in. If you watch the Knox County primary for mayor and sheriff, when you say, I can't rule out a tax increase because I don't know what our needs are going to be, that's not something I want to do, then you go from 3 or 4 points up to down 15 in 2 weeks. So there are some issues that are sensitive to, and that's because they don't have any confidence in the team.
Right.
If you came to them 15 years ago and said, look, we got to raise taxes because I'll do this, I'll do that, and they just, it's immediate, you're gone.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. Okay, you got a channel. Thank you, buddy.
American competitiveness runs on innovation, and ORNL helps deliver it. We accelerate the path from research to real-world applications, working with industry to reduce costs, boost efficiency, and bring next-generation technologies to market. It's ORNL science that strengthens the economy and builds opportunity across the nation.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
This is Joe Heckman, President of Waste Management at Energy Solutions. Nuclear power is on the rise. Energy Solutions is part of this transition and part of the solution, delivering comprehensive services and assets that support the entire nuclear life cycle. Energy Solutions is protecting and preserving the environment for generations to come.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance technologies and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear, environmental, and clean energy fields.
America runs on power, and for nuclear power, we need enriched uranium, but almost all of it comes from overseas. In 2019, the Trump administration took action, working with Centrus to build the first new American-owned uranium enrichment plant in 70 years. And now, Centrus is ready to expand to meet our nuclear power and military needs, free from dependence on foreign suppliers. Centrus, American technology built by American workers.
Get ready for the Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer. Experience thrilling rides, live music, exciting truck pulls, livestock shows, pageants, games and prizes, delicious fair food, sweet treats, and fun for the whole family. Whether you're making memories with friends or starting new traditions, there's something for everyone at the fair. Join us July 13th through 18th, 2026 at the Anderson County Fairgrounds. For schedules, tickets, and more information, visit AndersonCountyFairTN.com. The Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Welcome back. We're talking to County Commissioner from District 2, Michael Foster. What committee is you? You've been there 4 years, right?
4 years, running for re-election for the second term. So when I started, I was on budget for 2 years, and then after 2 years, me and Denise switched. Been on rules, I guess from the beginning. I've been
Rules
on
can be important if you do it.
Rules are important, and I'm one of those people that if we're going to have rules, let's follow them. If we're not going to follow them, let's get rid of the rules.
I just think
But,
I think Nashville Republicans have too many rules. That's what I'm saying.
So we've done quite a bit in rules and updated some things in rules, and we just made a change recently in Operations Committee and full commission to make rules it was 5 members. We're going to 8 members, one from each district. I'm on the audit committee. We made some changes there, and one of the things that when I ran 4 years ago was transparency and limiting size of government. So we've consolidated some committees. We had a lot of extra committees that didn't get the coverage that of some of our big committees. So we've consolidated some of those committee into operations, because you would go from, let's say, legislative committee to operations committee, then full commission. Well, could not just start in operations, because that's an operational kind of things legislative, because usually those things were taken up in legislative or interlocal government, or things that operation committee would handle or come to them afterwards. So we consolidated those. We made the audit committee members of the budget committee. So because the audit committee meets once a year and it's to report the audit, so they meet right before budget. So those members on the budget committee can just sit on that. That helps reduce the number of committees, and it helps our citizens know, okay, if I go to operations or if I go to budget, or I can watch those on TV. We still have rules, which I think rules needs to be a separate committee because the work it does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a unique application. That's right.
I've sit on the opioid abatement committee, which that's a committee that's only going to be around until the money runs out. And when the money runs out on the opioid thing, that committee sunsets. And I think that's important that when we form committees and they don't have a purpose anymore, because sometimes committees get started
There's a few old timers
to hit a project, right?
A few old timers, 20 plus on that, and on other things, and they just like all those committees. They get to go be a committee guy.
And I'm one of those. I mean, a lot of us have full-time jobs, so we're working commission after
That's
we
a
get
difference,
off
yeah.
full-time in committees. And if you meet at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock on a Wednesday or Thursday, like for me, I'm on the road a lot of times for work. So
That's another thing about day meetings. I always said
we don't have those anymore. Yeah, we tried to bring them back, and just the attendance on them was not as what we liked, and most people, it's just hard. I know Sabre has a hard time getting off her work to go to a meeting. So, and I think those day meetings are not a bad thing. I think it's if we look to do them again, maybe try them and start them in the afternoon. Let's say like a 1 or 2 o'clock, and so citizens don't get. So you can take a half a day. You can get to the office, do work, take a half a day.
Well, the fact that they're on TV and you can record them helps too.
That helps.
I think so.
Yeah, but that at least lets us, like, if there's a special project going on or something with our department heads that we'd like to see, it's during their work hours. I've sat on the highway committee. I'm no longer on that committee. I've sat on it. So I've kind of had my hand in a little
Some
bit of
of these
every committee,
committees are
but I've
4 or
not
5
been
people,
on.
right?
There are a lot of the smaller committees are 5 people. We've got nonprofit that only meets when it needs to. It has 5 people because I don't think every SAL committee needs 8 people.
No.
But your 2 big committees, budget and operations, are 8 people each one from each district, no overlap. And some people sit there permanently. They don't switch. Now, me and Denise went back and forth because I actually like the budget, so she let me start on the budget side, and then now she's on it, and I think she does a good job. But I think I'll be going back on it if we both get reelected. Coming to September, it's my turn to go
as chairman
back on
of
it.
commission, you got to relegate your sidekick on some of that stuff. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's hard being chairman. That's not an easy job. I think she does a good job in that role. She's just this is her first year on it. I think Tyler, when he was on commission, did a really good job as chair. I mean,
I like Tyler.
He implemented some things, and Denise has carried those over, and Denise has implemented some things. I think it's once again.
Well, you got to stand up to the simple things when you're a chairman. First of all, chairman can call press releases, but
call meetings
and do all things. But the real stuff that you got to watch for in that situation is people bringing off alternative agendas and trying to do stuff. I think the 3-minute rule is probably the most significant thing ever accomplished. Well, I used to rumble and rumble. And if you get a cause like, we want purple toilets in Lake City or something. we'll let 2 people talk about it for 3 minutes. We're not gonna let 20 people
Yeah.
talk about it.
And I think we've done that, especially public hearings.
Yeah,
Like,
you have.
if there's a whole room full of 50 people and they're all supporting something,
Yeah.
then let's pick some people to speak on their behalf.
3 or 4,
And then if you've got 50 people against it, I think, and it's important to listen to our
Now, if
constituents,
it's- yeah, and it's,
but
if
we
it's
want to keep it
taxes,
balanced.
if it's taxes, it's really important. And
Yeah.
if it's stuff like that, or, or dollars or budget and other things like, you get that. You gotta step back on that and give them.
And we've said, I think we've had quite a bit of rezonings that we do a public hearing for those, and I think we've had a lot of citizens come and speak on those situations, and and that's something that Planning Commission has approved, that sent it on up to full commission, and there's different opinions on that. I sit on Planning Commission now, been on there about a year. I think it's important because we have growth coming to this county, as
Anderson
we all
County
know.
Planning Commission.
I am on the Anderson County Planning Commission, and I think, but important with growth is how we control growth. We want positive growth. We don't want to bombard areas that don't need or don't have the infrastructure for growth. But I think the areas that do have infrastructure, and I think that's one of the things we've worked hard in Planning Commission and Commission too, is working together. Kind of what does Anderson County look like in 5 to 10 years? Where's the areas we do have infrastructure that we could handle growth areas, and making zoning work for those areas. Obviously, my district's mostly city limits of Clinton, so most of my zoning issues go through the city limits of Clinton, and go through city council. But we do have areas out Singing Springs where we have a new subdivision that's part of our district. When I started, there was 2 model houses in that district 4 years ago. Now that's got 50 or 60 houses in it. So that's an area. And there was another subdivision that's in our district that when I started it was building halfway out. Now it's completely full. So my district's seen quite a bit of growth that's not in the city limits. That
Well, that's
new
right.
houses.
And I have a chart I researched of how many new voters, registered voters, people that are moved in or turned 21, are in districts, all 8 districts.
Yeah.
All of them range between 1,200 and 1,800.
Which is crazy, right?
I mean,
that's
you're
just-
talking a lot of new voters.
That's a
right?
lot of new voters, and I've noticed that knocking doors, especially in the primaries. You have your list and you're working your list. When you knock on it, that's not who. They ain't the same person that lived there, right? And I'm new here. I'm this, or and so it's really good to have those conversations and say, hey, well, I'm your county commissioner. I'm running for reelection.
This is a good
you know.
time to canvass and meet people
Yeah.
because everybody's got a flag up.
That's right.
For
Everybody
July
looks
4th, right.
And 250 years. I mean, let's say Happy Birthday, America. I mean, 250 years, and I think that's one of the things that there's a lot of patriotic, especially this time of year. People love supporting America. I think right now we're seeing more support in America than we have. The World Cup, I think, has been a big hit. All these foreign people from countries coming in and seeing.
I think Mexico
seeing it, and
may
they're-
surprise some people.
Yeah.
They've been
I'm
scoring
hoping
on
the USA
4 games.
wins.
Yeah,
Let's,
well, of course. I
let's
think
go
people-
America here.
I think people
But-
expect them
Yeah.
to get.
But Germany got beat, which was a big shock that they got knocked out already. And I'm not a big
England was
soccer,
gone.
right?
England was gone, and then Kane comes in with 2 goals late, which he's a
Oh.
superstar. But the Mexico is 2-0, 3-0,
Yeah.
1-0. They just good defense. You can't
So
flip.
it's interesting
So I'm
that-
always interested in Mexico doing well too. But
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting. I think the World Cup it's been an economic boom
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
cities. I
I
mean,
mean-
there's got to be. I don't know. You have all these countries. There's got to be tens of thousands of foreigners in here.
Well, and just like
it's
watching people on
expensive.
social media and stuff and seeing that, and like people going to Buc-ee's for the first time, which I think everybody experienced at Buc-ee's for the first time but when you got somebody from England or somewhere in Europe coming over and seeing things and eating, I've just seen a lot of videos that people posting about how much they've enjoyed being in America and that.
Especially in the rural suburbs
Yeah,
and stuff. They got cities
absolutely.
everywhere. but
Yeah,
they
that's
don't have-
right.
They don't have that
They
kind
don't
of
have the
prosperity.
rural areas and the beauty
France
that we
does, and
have
some
here.
other-
and-
France and some others do, but
Yeah.
they're not as prosperous. Yeah, I don't see that part. Okay, let's talk about elections are coming, things are coming. Do you see any changes, rules? Do you see any changes in the structure of county commission and how it works?
Well, I'm interested to see, one, like I said, there's going to be turnover in commission. So what does that look like because you got Jerry White that's retiring, you got Bob Smallridge that's retiring, so there's 2 new seats. Josh gave up his seat to run for mayor, so there's 3 new seats that you're guaranteed to have, right? And then, you could have, obviously, never know how elections are going to turn out. So, but you could have a lot. I mean, we had 8 turnover last time, right? I mean, we had 8 new ones come in 4 years ago, which is that's a large number. So, obviously, District 4 is not going to change. They don't have anybody in the general election.
My assessment,
Yep.
1 and 2 will stay the same. That's my assessment. I don't know. I think Mr. Phillips is doing a great job. And I don't know how being an independent impacts Tracy.
Because it's a governor primary. That's what we don't know. 4 years ago was
Very
not a
strong
governor's.
Republican,
Right.
that's
It was this is a contested governor primary. 4 years ago was a re-election, so Republican turnout was not going to be as heavy as I think this time around. You've got a local candidate. You got a governor candidate from Roane County, so that's going to draw people out, especially in Oak Ridge and in the area.
You're talking about Monty Fritz.
Monty Fritz, yeah.
Is a Republican primary. Monty's different. I like Monty. He knows I like him, but it's different. I mean, in the end, for me, it's jobs and other things, etc. I've known Marcia a long time, supported Marcia. She supported Sabre. We have nothing but good things to say there. But I'm impressed with John Rose.
Yeah.
Everybody's impressed. I don't know if he gets enough steam to catch up, but it's going to be close in the end. Close meaning single digits, not 1 or 2. But you're 20 behind now or 15. I think it gets to 7 or 8. But,
And I've known John for a long time. I was with FFA. I was state officer, and John was always involved with agriculture. He was obviously commissioner of agriculture for a while. He's run businesses. I've met Marcia here and there, and I think she does a great job as a senator. Does that translate to being a good governor?
That's the
right?
question.
John's run a business, and Monty, he's been a state rep. Does that, what does that transition look like if he's governor? But I do think probably it's a two-person. Really, I don't know if it's a two-person race. I think it's Marcia's to lose, but.
Maybe 3. I mean, I think Monty's doing better. He's going. I predict Monty gets 8 to 11% somewhere in there, and I think Marcia's in the mid to high 30s in the group. And the question is just can John Rose get up to where he needs to go?
Right.
And I don't know. About
I know he's campaigning. He's been in Anderson County. I mean,
I designed strategies for a lot of those guys that know. But I don't know what.
Been doing this a long time, so
I have. It was a little easier in the Lincoln race. I mean, we knew what Douglas was coming with, and we were ready to go.
You're ready? You had the boots on the ground.
1865, I'll never forget it.
See, this is what happens when you talk with your hands.
Let's take another break, and we'll be right back.
American competitiveness runs on innovation, and ORNL helps deliver it. We accelerate the path from research to real-world applications, working with industry to reduce costs, boost efficiency, and bring next-generation technologies to market. It's ORNL science that strengthens the economy and builds opportunity across the nation.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
This is Joe Heckman, President of Waste Management at Energy Solutions. Nuclear power is on the rise. Energy Solutions is part of this transition and part of the solution, delivering comprehensive services and assets that support the entire nuclear life cycle. Energy Solutions is protecting and preserving the environment for generations to come.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance technologies and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear, environmental, and clean energy fields.
America runs on power, and for nuclear power, we need enriched uranium, but almost all of it comes from overseas. In 2019, the Trump administration took action, working with Centrus to build the first new American-owned uranium enrichment plant in 70 years. And now, Centrus is ready to expand to meet our nuclear power and military needs, free from dependence on foreign suppliers. Centrus, American technology built by American workers.
Get ready for the Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer. Experience thrilling rides, live music, exciting truck pulls, livestock shows, pageants, games and prizes, delicious fair food, sweet treats, and fun for the whole family. Whether you're making memories with friends or starting new traditions, there's something for everyone at the fair. Join us July 13th through 18th, 2026 at the Anderson County Fairgrounds. For schedules, tickets, and more information, visit AndersonCountyFairTN.com. The Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Welcome back. Between the lines, we're talking to Michael Foster, who apparently is running.
Okay.
Are they cutting back on what they fund, what they match, what they do? What's your feeling about that?
Well, you know, I would think over the last 5 years, they definitely have cut back on what funding, you know, I would think that, especially being worked in a city before I got in county government, that the money we used to get from the state, the share, I mean, obviously we've lowered taxes, which also affects how we fund things locally. And you know, property taxes are one of the main ways we fund things outside of sales tax. It is the only way to fund things. And, you know, obviously there was legislation this past year that looking at putting a cap on property taxes. And I'm not for raising property taxes, but there are certain times that you have to do it for, you know, if we're going to build something, right? Or, unlike, I mean, we did it without doing it at school, but if you do put a cap that you can't raise it more than 5%, what you're going to see is people just go, hey, we're going to do a 2% every year for the next, you know, so long just to keep up with inflation. Obviously, my thing is we always look at cutting costs first, and I think the state does a good job. I mean, obviously, we're very financially sound at the state level, right? We have a great rainy day fund. I think there's more grants out there.
Wait a minute, who's solid? Anderson County?
Tennessee. Well, I think Anderson County has a good fund balance.
It don't matter if they got a great fund balance, they don't share something.
Yeah.
See, my problem with Clinton, the roads are the worst in the state, but my problem with Clinton is you can have no debt. You can be proud of that and do everything. And I use the analogy of my son makes a 4.5 and gets a 34 in his ACT, and he gets a scholarship to Harvard, okay? And they'll pay most of it, but they want the family to kick in 30,000 or 25 of the 200 or whatever it is, okay? But Roane State will let him go for free, or Tennessee Tech or somebody because of his grades. Now, I can't send my son to Harvard or Yale or Princeton because I don't want to borrow $20,000 to do it.
Yeah.
I want to stay debt-free, so I can tell everybody I'm debt-free. I don't buy that. I think you have to invest, not taxes, but you have to invest in some debt to repair some stuff, to do some stuff, to market some stuff. I mean, I get it. I get what
I'm a taxpayer. I'm a taxpayer in Clinton, right? Obviously, my brother sits on city council. I don't believe you need to be debt free as a government to function. I think it's one of those things there. It's fine if you want to get debt free and then leverage your
interest is 2%.
Right, then leverage that to go and do. I mean, the community center needs upgrades, right? That's something.
Oh, it's horrible.
You know, I've talked to Wendy Manis and my brother both about it. Like, hey, I think there's some things that we need to do some here. And as a taxpayer, right? That's not as a county commissioner. That's not.
How often do
these
people, these new people, how often do they go against the main guys, Burton's crew up there? I mean, and you know, I've run Scott's campaigns for a long time. He's a good guy. I like him, but I just think you can't let things go.
No, I mean, I think it's, and I think that most, obviously their goal was to get debt free, and they just hit that mark here, and I guess on this budget. Well, that's a city council question. That's not a county commission question.
In any county.
But, right, I'm with you. We've got to leverage, in my opinion, and I'm not saying on the county side, hey, we don't need to reduce our debt, right? You know, obviously we just took a loan to build a new animal shelter, and that's something, okay, we had to take a loan to build the school, right? There are certain things because you can't pay cash for it, but I do think there's things that you can do that you can pay cash. I don't think we should be borrowing money to pay for police cars, right? But sometimes those situations, you know, there's things you could put in the budget, but that means when you're debt free, hey, more roads need to be paved. Obviously, they're doing a big project downtown that's finishing up. They've got the concert coming up.
Really?
You know, and so it's one of those things.
But I get told all the time by different people downtown me. I get told by the government that we've checked with our vendors, they're okay, and we've done this, but it's going to be better, and everybody's in a good mood. That simply is not true. I mean, obviously, I'm friends with Stephen, and we've worked on some stuff, and I talked to them. They're furious. They're just upset. They want to come up and have a meeting, do this, talk to me. I mean, it's just, it's a marketing thing. You can't run around saying they're not happy. I get what they're doing.
But,
Just
you know,
a
that
6-month
project.
project's turned into a year and a half.
Well, and from my know, the timeline was always a year and a half or so, but they ran into stuff that when any project.
I want you to tell their
Yeah.
side. I can tell
Right.
their
Well,
side.
and I don't work for the city of Clinton. I just represent that in my
You live
district.
there, though.
So
You
I
live
do.
there.
And I've got a lot of friends that own businesses down there, right? And you know, I walk down there and shop down there myself. And I'm not saying it was not hard. We all know it was hard on those businesses. And I do think the city tried really hard to keep, you know, as business as usual, which it's impossible because the road's closed and you're digging up sewer. But when you got sewer that's not been touched in 50, 60, 70 years, and you don't know what you have until you dig it up, right? And but if you go down there today, you know, you're going to see open streets, you're going to see new sidewalks, you're going to see. But doesn't mean there's not things. And I'm born and raised in Clinton. I love Clinton. It's my, you know, I will brag on Clinton all day long because I love it. I mean, it's where I live. It's who
in America. You can get a high school degree in 11 hours, 12 hours.
Hey, we're not talking about that, okay? We're talking about the future. We're talking about the positive.
I brought Parrot on with me. He can tell you owned everything. He was
But,
good.
you know, it's one of those things that there's always how to make things better, right? It's not if you're at the best at what you do, you should want to get better, right? No matter
Absolutely.
if you're debt free, not debt free, you want to make. I mean, I worked for a city and I wanted it to be better than I found it.
Well,
So I think
you and
everybody.
Tyler, I'm missing somebody, or loved all the government incremental stuff, state, all these organizations. Who do you work for?
I work for Public Entity Partners. We do like insurance and risk management for cities, so I'm very involved
What
with.
does Tyler do?
He works for CTAS, which is
I understand that.
County Technical Advisory Services. So we work in the same kind of field, but not exactly. But still government related, and obviously my experience as city manager, you know, I think that's helped me on county commission, understanding how government works. Also, it
I
helps me in
think
my
so.
job now too. You know, there was hard times when I was in Rocky Top when I got there. I mean, things I knew when I first got there I didn't know, and when I left, I got same thing with county commission because I came from the city and getting there from the county side of things. Like, hey, this is different. Why do we do it this way? I don't love how county government works all the time. I mean, how we have to approve everything at the budget level compared to at the city. Once you pass the budget, you know, your finance director can make a lot of those changes. So there's just certain things. County government's very siloed. I mean, I think people,
Let me ask you
that's
this.
the hard
What
part.
well, first of all, county government has, when you look at New River and Bryceville.
Oh,
And you look
absolutely.
at Norwood and Olive Springs, it's a tough place to manage.
And it's, I mean, you go from North to Oak Ridge, different. You go Clinton to Bryceville, different. You go from Clinton to Oak Ridge, different, right? And you
It's
don't
challenging,
have,
especially like for the sheriff's department, people like that, it's tough.
yeah, and everybody's boss is elected. Compared to at a city, you got a council, you got a city manager, and chief reports to the city manager, public works director to the city manager. County government, Gary reports to the people, right? The sheriff reports to the people.
Yeah, it's
The mayor
elected
reports to the
officials,
people.
that's
You know, and as commissioners, we report to the people, but we don't oversee the mayor's office. We don't oversee the highway department. We control the budget, and I think that's the hardest thing that I've one for me, but also just talking to constituents, you're like, well, like we're the legislative body. We're not the management body. We are, you know, we pass the budget. We vote budget up or down. We can control the, you know, things there, but we don't tell them how to do their job because that's not our role as the legislative body. Congress doesn't tell the president how to do his job, right? I mean, they do, but they can't make him
It's a
do anything,
cooperative
right?
deal. It's a
I mean,
cooperative
right.
deal.
You
So
know,
tell me what you would change. What do you want to see change in county government?
over in changes in county government, or okay,
If you were over all
But
the
magic-
old
magic
connections,
wand,
yeah, you're the king.
you know, ultimately, if I could just wave a magic wand and see everything, I'd like it to be more streamlined and more. But that's never going to happen because constitutionally, these offices are
That
elected,
doesn't
right?
bother me. What services do you think need to be?
Well, you know, I think it's one of those things we always want to provide good police services, fire, sheriff's department services, EMS services. I think we always want to see improvement there. I think infrastructure is one of those things. So, and we don't own water, sewer, but, ACWA is a branch of county government. The mayor appoints the board, but, we're going to see growth in this county. And so how do we prepare for that? Obviously we want to continue to recruit businesses here. We want people to come here and live. We have, if you look at Anderson County, it's a great place to live, right? We've got lakes, we've got outdoor activities, we're close to Knoxville, so if you do want more of an urban setting, you can go to Knoxville. Oak Ridge has a bunch of stuff going on in Oak Ridge. Jobs are coming here. So I think it's one of those things we've got to continue to prepare for what's coming in Anderson County. How do we make it better? Because we want it to be the best place to live, visit, that it can be. And sometimes that means we need to provide this service. Sometimes we got to cut back on another service so we can provide this service. I think tourism's always going to be a big piece of Anderson County, and it should be. Right? Why don't we want people to come? Because those people spend money and then they leave, right? That's what we want. Spend money, spend it here, and we don't have to educate your kids or pay for your animals, your medical services. We don't have to pay for your police services and send you back home.
Okay, let's take another break, please. Last one, Chandler.
American competitiveness runs on innovation, and ORNL helps deliver it. We accelerate the path from research to real-world applications, working with industry to reduce costs, boost efficiency, and bring next-generation technologies to market. It's ORNL science that strengthens the economy and builds opportunity across the nation.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
This is Joe Heckman, President of Waste Management at Energy Solutions. Nuclear power is on the rise. Energy Solutions is part of this transition and part of the solution, delivering comprehensive services and assets that support the entire nuclear life cycle. Energy Solutions is protecting and preserving the environment for generations to come.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance technologies and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear, environmental, and clean energy fields.
America runs on power, and for nuclear power, we need enriched uranium, but almost all of it comes from overseas. In 2019, the Trump administration took action, working with Centrus to build the first new American-owned uranium enrichment plant in 70 years. And now, Centrus is ready to expand to meet our nuclear power and military needs, free from dependence on foreign suppliers. Centrus, American technology built by American workers.
Get ready for the Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer. Experience thrilling rides, live music, exciting truck pulls, livestock shows, pageants, games and prizes, delicious fair food, sweet treats, and fun for the whole family. Whether you're making memories with friends or starting new traditions, there's something for everyone at the fair. Join us July 13th through 18th, 2026 at the Anderson County Fairgrounds. For schedules, tickets, and more information, visit AndersonCountyFairTN.com. The Anderson County Fair, the best 6 days of summer.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
hard for me to get away from work. I travel quite a bit for work already, and so when you got young kids and family, it's like, well, and a lot of times my trips overlap with other work trips, and so I do try to go. I've been, obviously when we first got elected, we went to the elected officials like kickoff that you got to do.
Is it official? Do you learn anything?
Some. I mean, it's about networking and and. But a lot of that now you can do so much online. Like if there's trainings you got to do, we have to have so many hours every year. I'm notorious for getting mine at the last minute, but or really turning mine in. I get them throughout the year because I go to a lot of conferences and the stuff overlaps. But really, I think where you learn the most is talking to people. And I do think CTAS.
What do they say? What do most people complain about?
I think roads are always ones that. And what's funny, when I was knocking doors, people, most of the questions I got were about the downtown project. And I'm like, well, it's not a county commission project. That's a city council project. So it is one of those things that, but most people are happy. I mean, people, I didn't get a lot of complaints during, especially the primary knocking doors and citizens. Obviously the animal shelter has been an issue, but, you can only build a building so fast, and that's taken longer than any of us imagined. Because when they first built the shelter, it was a temporary shelter, but that turned into more than temporary. But we know we've broke ground on that. They're working hard on it. That's going to be big. I think EMS is one that we get questions about quite a bit, just on the coverages.
You get a few
and
questions
stuff.
on the animals.
We do. I mean, and those. How do we handle that?
That was drama. That was 6 months of drama. I can't. You like the new shelter? It's pretty nice.
I mean, it's going to be nice when it's done. So, I mean,
how long until it gets completed?
I think a year and a half. I mean, you got to build a building. I mean, but the property's a good location. It's right near the dog park. I went down for, like I said, we went down for
I didn't know we had a dog park.
So, yeah, well, Clinton does. You live in Oak Ridge, so.
You've
also got one in Oak Ridge.
Parks.
Yeah,
here's set the standard.
Yeah, I like Oak Ridge. I mean, it's not Clinton, but I like Oak Ridge.
It's your kind of town.
But, I mean, it's really good. I mean, my thing is, growing up here, I spent a lot of time in Oak Ridge, and to see, what they did with the property of the Oak Ridge Mall and turned it into a functioning, empowering,
Warren
job.
Goose deserves a lot of respect.
I love the multi-use facilities they've got, where they took vacant land and they turned it into residential and things. And that's something I would love to see at the new Claxton, the old Claxton School, which is the current Claxton School.
What's the debate on that? Where are we going with that?
So, I mean, I would love to see.
Some people want a technical school or something. That's not going to happen.
I think we got to get it back on. We got to get on the tax roll, right? That's a growing area. Edgemore Road's going to be developing with the 4 lanes.
Yes.
You've got stuff going on at the old Bull Run, and I think you'll even see
and
more
prices
development.
I'm hearing on the old Claxton School are large, high.
And we need the money to help offset the cost. I mean, that was what the school was banking on that funding gap. But I think that's a great location for a multi-use where you could do housing and retail space. I mean, I think it's very similar to what Oak Ridge has done. I think you're going to see more
there where
growth.
the old school is?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big piece of property.
Line, Edgemore, and
it's right there.
25
jobs, and you're going to see more things coming in this area. And so you can hit the highway, go to Knoxville if you're working in Knoxville. You're right there on Clinton Highway. If you got to go to West Knoxville, you hit Edgemore. If you're working in Oak Ridge, you go to Edgemore.
Is Weigels having a successful time out there?
I mean, it seems like it every time I drive by. They got cars in the parking lot, and there's no other gas stations close.
The bottom line is you got to have enough cars. I
Yeah.
know what you're saying. It's like the Weigels coming out of Oak Ridge that goes to Knoxville. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's good in the mornings, good in the afternoons, but in between, you're not sure 100%.
Something like that.
But Weigels has got a lot of Weigels
That's the
going
nature
around,
of the business, though, morning and the afternoon.
That's right. You got to catch them eating and stuff, and I do think seeing that property develop, seeing the new school, I think that really helps that community. Going to have the new park. The school's going to partner with us on that location to be able to put the new Claxton Park there.
I like Parrott.
Yeah,
I've
known him since I was a child. I mean, he's obviously worked with my dad. And
I like him because he just says, "You ask me anything you want to. I don't care." He's not trying to hide anything. He's just ready to come forward on everything, and he's trying to make a difference. He knew I joked with him on the hours. He was okay with it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things we got to continue to know that nuclear is the future of this area, and we got.
I work in the industry.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm trying to deal with Washington. I mean, it's the same thing, and I think that's a generator. And so funny politically, Chuck has brought more money in, Congressman Flashman, than anybody ever.
Yeah.
He's getting everything done. And the Fed's cut his budget, cut the energy budget on defense from 27 to 22 billion in the current budgets going forward. It's interesting, the Democrats are hitting him on losing the money. Well, he didn't lose the
Didn't lose
money,
money, they cut-
but it
yeah.
doesn't matter. Nah, it's still huge numbers, but he says, you know, it's been a big play for him. So now the Democrats are saying that Flashman has dropped the ball and Oak Ridge is not gonna get as much money. So it's interesting, all those.
We've had great representation from
Yeah,
Chuck
but
Flashman.
that
He-
tells you how important that money is, that you can play volleyball with that.
Well, and I think that too.
He ain't done. He'll get it
Yeah,
back.
and
He'll
that
get it
redistricting, when they were talking about moving him out of covering Anderson County, I mean, we were all against
Everybody
that.
riled
Yeah,
up
I
on
mean,
that one.
that's not something none of us wanted, because he's brought so much, and with Oak Ridge being here, him being on appropriations, and I mean, that's so important for
Chairman,
this
yeah.
area. Yeah, chairman of it, and so I think that's.
And I'm not optimistic about the midterms. I think it's gonna be closer than people think, and it's doable with the right things fall the right way. But I think the real question is, how do you continue to be a major factor as the ranking member, which he's been before? You're not the
Right.
chairman, but you're the number one Republican. And you have to cut deals. You have to cut deals. But it goes from 15 to 11 or 17 to 10, all Republican, goes back to Democrat being the bigger piece of the
Right.
pie. So it gets a little different.
Let's just hope the Republicans keep the House and the Senate.
I'm
That's-
hoping.
That's,
I think the Senate will be okay.
So-
I'm a little more worried about the House.
Yeah.
It-
The redistricting, I think, has helped Republicans. I think, that obviously we gained a seat here in Tennessee. There's a lot of states that, and then Virginia.
You still
got
gotta
thrown
win 'em,
out.
right?
You got to win them, right? You got to win it. As I'm
I've
in the
looked
middle of
at
election, you got to win
yeah.
it. You can
And
talk
know,
all you want about the future, but you
I'm
got
in
to
the
win.
business, and I sit in on meetings for redistricting, what its impact is, and, it's just so hard to read because you get one thing in Alabama or Georgia, and you get one thing out.
Right. What's the
in
net, right? That's
California.
what the-
Well, yeah, is the net good? Or it depends on your state legislature. They can pass laws and do stuff. I think it'll be a plus
Right,
one.
if you
It'll be a
lose-
plus one in Tennessee.
Right. If you gain one in Tennessee, but you lose 10 in California, you're now
Well,
negative
Texas
9.
has got to
Right.
compensate
But-
for California.
Correct.
That's how that works.
Florida, obviously, I think they gained 4 in Florida Republicans, so I mean, that helps offset what they lose. other
Georgia didn't
places.
redistrict. They just left it out.
And South Carolina
So-
didn't either. I know they brought it up, but that's nationally. But, obviously, I think it's important that we
Everybody
do for
gets
this
to
area
redistrict
that
in a
we
few
keep.
years, right? I mean,
Yeah,
30
another
to-
census is coming. It'll be
Yeah.
here before we know it.
It'll be interesting. And I really support the president and the Republicans on the voter stuff. Why wouldn't you want somebody to have identification?
I mean, I do it every time I go vote. What about you?
Yeah, same
Right?
here. Both
And,
times I've
and my
voted.
thing is I want people that live in my district voting for my people in my district, right? I don't want somebody from Oak Ridge coming over voting, and we don't have that here. But there are places that mail
Well,
in
Tennessee
ballots,
has,
and
I think they voted the toughest
yeah.
voting laws in the
And
country.
guess what? Our elections are counted that night,
Yeah.
and we don't have 10 days to
Supreme
count
Court
them.
just said they could send them out.
Yep.
And that was a little bit strange. It was a little bit strange. Let's talk about Rex Lynch.
I ain't talking about Rex.
Yeah, I know it's hard, but I mean, we got Rex Lynch, who's in his final term probably.
Yeah.
Terry Frank, who's probably going to enter her final term. A lot of people have said they're going to the House, and Attorney General David Clark. I mean, there's a lot of people in the mix. You see yourself getting into any of that?
Well,
That's a yes. For you
that's
guys that
four.
don't-
That's 4 years from now. I'm worried about.
It ain't 4, it's 3.
Three. Well, yeah, that's true. But I'm worried about getting reelected in District 2, serving my people in District 2 as
My
a county
team will take a
commissioner.
deposit on the canvassing right now.
They will.
You'll take their money, won't you?
I'm very happy with what I do right now, but whatever the Lord leads me to do, and our family, we're going to see. But right now, it's focused to get
as I
get
got older, I
done.
try to focus. I had a Knoxville judge's race. I try to focus more on judicial races, criminal justice related races, stuff like that. Not so much law enforcement, but DA and everybody. And it's interesting how things are changing. It really is. And,
It's,
and
like I
all
said,
those
people are
races.
it's getting younger. I mean, I do think the next generation's stepping up to
We
lead,
ran
and
two.
need
I
more
ran
of
2
that.
elections to 22, and the average age of a judge went from 67 to 49
That's
over 9. It was unbelievable.
That's a big jump.
And I think Daniel Forrester and Ryan Spitzer are just good
do
at
a
what
good
they do,
job.
right?
Yep.
Good people. I like them all. We had a great year. I mean, it was a great election year and everything else. Got anybody? What do you want to say to the voters?
Hey, I just, want to continue serving you in District 2. I appreciate the last 4 years, and I just ask for your vote and support, and look forward to serving you guys for 4 more years.
Early voting starts 2 weeks from tomorrow,
It's hard to believe.
July 7th. July 17th, and you'll have through the 30th or 31st? 31st, I think.
Don't question me on that. August 6th is Election Day. I do know that.
I know that's right. Hey, we appreciate you, and we'll be back next week with another commission interview. Thank you.